Listen to these words from Joshua chapter 4. And it came to pass when the people had completely crossed over the Jordan that the Lord spoke to Joshua, saying, Take for yourselves 12 men from the people, 1 man from every tribe, and command them, saying, Take for yourselves 12 stones from here, out of the midst of the Jordan, from the place where the priest's feet stood firm. You shall carry them over with you, and leave them in the lodging place where you lodge tonight. Then Joshua called the 12 men whom he had appointed from the children of Israel, 1 man from every tribe. And Joshua said to them, Cross over before the ark of the Lord your God in the midst of the Jordan. And each one of you take up a stone on his shoulder, according to the number of the tribes of the children of Israel, that this may be a sign among you when your children ask in time to come, saying, What do these stones mean to you? Then you shall answer them that the waters of the Jordan were cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord, when it crossed over the Jordan, and the waters of the Jordan were cut off. And these stones shall be a memorial to the children of Israel forever. And they did just as Joshua commanded them. He went on and said to the Israelites, In the future, when your descendants ask their parents, What do these stones mean? Tell them that Israel crossed the Jordan on dry ground. For the Lord your God, he dried up the Jordan before you, until you had crossed over. The Lord your God did to the Jordan what he had done to the Red Sea, when he dried it up before until we had crossed over there. He did this so that all the peoples of the earth might know that the hand of the Lord is so powerful, and that you might always fear the Lord your God. Now, the Israelites had seen God do some really amazing things. He had turned the Nile into blood. He rained down frogs and locusts. He spared their firstborn. He had split the Red Sea so they could cross through. Every day he sent manna from heaven, and they got water from a rock. It's like every time the Israelites turned around, God was providing for them, and in these amazing, powerful ways. So God commanded the parents several times to pass on these stories, to pass on their faith to the next generation. It was an oral society, so histories, traditions, their faith, it was passed on through the spoken word. And God even commanded Joshua to make a monument, to put these stones as a reminder of what God had done for the people, so that every time they see them, the children can ask, What do these mean? That moms and dads could tell them stories of God's faithfulness. Now, Israel takes possession of the land that God had promised them, and Joshua eventually dies. But listen to the words of Judges 2:10. It says, After that whole generation had been gathered to their ancestors, another generation grew up that neither knew the Lord nor what he had done for them. Think about that. The very next generation didn't know God. They didn't know who he was or what he had done for the people. Verse 11 goes on to say that the people did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and they worshiped the false god Baal. The men and women, the very same men and women that saw God do these amazing things over and over again, but they didn't pass it on to the next generation. So Kidmin leaders, what are you doing to equip moms and dads in your church to pass on their faith to the next generation? Yes, we know, we agree it is not the church's job to teach kids how to walk with God. God has commanded moms and dads to lead, and we all agree that no one has more influence in the life of a child than their parents. So ask yourself, are the parents in your ministry intentionally passing on their faith? Are they being obedient to the command that God has given them to shepherd and lead their children? And what about your role? Are you helping them? Are you giving them resources and equipping them to pass on their faith? Are you teaching them how? One way or another, moms and dads are teaching their children how to walk with God or not to. The Israelites had a stone monument to serve as a reminder of God's faithfulness, and they still failed at passing on their faith to the next generation. So do your part. Provide these awesome Christ-centered content at church. Absolutely. But we all know that faith isn't just on Sundays and Wednesdays. Partner with mom and dad. Give them resources and training. Teach them how. Show them the importance of leading their children. Show them their calling and the command. Resource them, teach them, but walk beside them. Don't let this generation, the next generation, be like the generation of Israelites that didn't know the Lord.